Hello, I'm Pastor Henry Hildebrandt, just coming to you with an update on what has happened here recently. We had an excellent time at a rally in Toronto this past Saturday. Our main burden, our main theme there was the God-given freedoms that are being taken away from us. Yes, the mask is an issue as well, but the big burden is, the main thing is the freedoms that are being taken away from us. Of course, when we look at the mask, it is a big deal because mask can actually harm a person. There's a number of points brought forth by doctors that will confirm that that is the case. But what is more important to us is the God-given freedoms. Freedoms were given to us by God. Rights are given to us by governments. And this government has taken it upon themselves to take those away from us. What's interesting is on our Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, at the very bottom of it, the signature that you see there is our Prime Minister's daddy that signed that. When our Prime Minister was just 10 years old, Daddy signed this. And we reminded him that not to mess with those principles that form the foundation of our charter. So we trust that somehow the Lord will work on his heart and remind him of it, that those things are very, very important. I would like to mention something to you that Napoleon said. He said the world suffers a lot, not because of the violence of the bad people, but because of the silence of the good people. Oh, how important it is that we would not allow ourselves to be quieted down or to be silent in a time when they actually need us the most. Right now is where the church needs us, and God forbid that we would be quiet during this time. Freedom taken away from one of us is freedom taken away from all of us. We are all affected. We hear so many uncertain sounds in this time. Once we are told, at the beginning of this year, we were told by Dr. Fauci and Dr. Tam that masks are not really important. We shouldn't have to walk around with those. And then 3 months later, supposedly masks are mandated. Well, we've got a message for them. Science doesn't change in 3 months. Then they tell us that we should use a lot of vitamin D for this virus. Well, vitamin D, as we know, is part of it is sunshine. So how are we supposed to get sunshine if they want to lock us back up in our houses? We reminded them that they had just given us enough time to have a nice break, little summer here. Now they want to lock us back up for the winter, for a long winter, hoping that will break us down, that we will all be anxiously lining up to be vaccinated when spring comes around. But they are badly mistaken. Many of us see right through it. We know what that's all about. By the way, when they say quarantine is for sick people. When they say that they're quarantining healthy people, that's tyranny. That's not quarantine. Our premier here himself has been saying some very harsh words. He says we've got to bring the hammer down on these people. Meanwhile, he's been spotted at a wedding. There was no mask wearing, or hardly any at all, no social distancing. So we reminded him that that's excellent that he enjoyed his time at the wedding, but that's the privilege that everybody has, not just the high up people. Hypocrisy means they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne and lay them on man's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. Bill Gates says he finds it strange that people don't trust the FDA, which is the Food and Drug Administration, or the CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. But he says he finds it strange that he finds it weird that people would not trust his vaccines, but he said Americans should absolutely not trust the FDA and the CDC. Well, we would say to Bill Gates, it takes one to know one. He goes on and he says the benefits of the vaccine are very dramatic, after all, not just on the health front, but on the economic front. Message we have for Bill Gates is the love of money is the root of all evil. The multi-billionaire then continues on and he says he's so glad that he's able to work above governmental structures. In other words, that he doesn't have to listen to what the government says. Why don't we stand up together? Why don't we stop this global panic? Why don't we stop this fear-mongering method? Let's handle this the way the Charter of Rights says. Let's do it in a demonstrably justified manner in a free and democratic society. This government, or we could say the Constitution, was not written to protect the government from the people, but to protect the people from the government. But the strength of the Constitution lies entirely in the determination of each citizen to defend it. Our national anthem sums it up so well. It says, God, keep our land glorious and free. A little piece of good news here before we end is that the governor of Florida just announced late Saturday, I believe, right while we were at the Toronto rally, he said Florida will open up 100%. Mask wearing will not be mandatory. Businesses will all be open. Restaurants will all be open. What a piece of good news. If we could just have that increase, that makes it 2 states. Florida is open. I believe it's North Dakota is open. So now we just need the rest to follow in line, and then life would be back to normal again, and everybody would be so much better off. We wish you God's blessings and a wonderful day.